What did the Cajun say when he stood in front of the microphone on The Angela Show? Well, you're about to find out as we welcome Cajun humorist Tommy Joe Breaux.
Hello there. Man, it's so nice to see all y'all come out today for the Angela Show. I'm glad to have y'all here again, too. You know, the first thing anybody ever asks a Cajun when they met him is, where you from? Well, folks, I can tell y'all that I'm born and raised in Biloxi, Mississippi. But my whole family come from Breaux, Louisiana. And I learned a whole lot about the folks that live in Breaux, Louisiana from talking with my grandpa. And one thing I know for sure is that the pride and joy of Breaux, Louisiana is the fire department. And that come to be the day that one of them all chic over there in Saudi Arabia is always caught on fire. And man, he called every big shot fire department in the world to come put out that fire, but everybody was busy. But somebody told that chic to call the Breaux Fire Department that they could put out them all-wear fires like that. So man, that chic called over there and he talked with Fire Chief Pt.1 at Breaux Fire Department. Patu said, yeah, he said, we could put out them all-wear fires like that. Where you say you at? Over there in Araby on the East Bank in New Orleans, you know? He said, man, no, Shy. He said, I told you I'm in the middle of the East, man. That's halfway around the world from you there. Patu said, my heart, the where we supposed to got way over there, huh? Oh, Shy, he said, don't you worry about that. He said, we're going to send one of the big transport plane and all that to got you. Patu said, ma, how much you going to pay us to put out that fire, huh? Oh, he said, I'm going to give you for $5 million. Oh, yeah. Now, Shy, when he said that, man, old Patu done come to attention on the phone. He said, Mr. Sheik, you send that plane, I guarantee we're going to be ready over there, you know. So, man, they sent that plane to Breaux Bridge, and they loaded the whole fire department on there. They even brought the dog that hung around the station, old Blue, you know. And that plane took off, and it landed over there in Saudi Arabia, and they put the tailgate down, and, man, here come the Breaux Bridge Fire Department. Man, Patu's got the siren going, and the bells are ringing, and all the men up top, man, they yell and scream, and old Blue's bark his lung out. They get out to that fire, and Patu don't slow down a little bit. Man, he drive right slap dab into the middle of that fire. Man, they get there, and, man, all the men jump off. They beating that fire with the rag, and Patu's hold that hose, and, man, they even got old Blue pushed his hand between his legs on that fire, you know. So, man, they fight that thing for about 6 hours, and he finally go out. And that sheik come over there, and he told Fire Chief Patu Primo, he said, my friend, I got to tell you that is one of the finest all-well fighting jobs what I ever seen in my life. And he handed him that suitcase with that $5 million. He said, you know something, though, I've been wondering, what's a little town and little fire department like Breaux Bridge going to need with all that money? Patu said, Mr. Sheik, you know, I've been thought about that, too. He said, the first thing we're going to do is have them brakes fixed on that truck. I guarantee you. The happiest man in Breaux Bridge from Patu got all that money was his brother Citin, who was running for sheriff there in St. Martin Parish. Because he knew with all that money he could buy himself some votes. And he did that by throwing one of the biggest fais-d'odos which St. Martin Parish ever saw. And a fais-d'odo is when us Cajuns get together, you know, and we ball shrimp and the crab and, man, have the gumbo and jambalaya and all the good Cajun cooking. Well, Citin had all of that, but he went a little bit further. He had one of them carnivals come to town with all them rides and everything, you know. And two of the folks that went to that carnival was old Flounder Philo and his wife Filet. Now, they call him Flounder because both his eyes is kind of over there on the same side, you know. And, man, Flounder was sat there, you know, and he's watched that man operate that airplane ride. And that fella operated that ride with one of them gear shifts. And, man, Flounder said, whoo, my friend, you know, you sure could make them people yell and scream on that ride, you know. Oh, yeah, he said, I've been operating that ride 25 years. Me, I ain't never seen nobody what I couldn't make scream. Flounder said, well, you know, me, I believe I could ride that ride and I'd scream, no. That fella said, hold everything. You say you're going to ride that ride and you don't going to scream. If you're going to do that, me, I'm going to give you for $50. But now, look, you got to understand, now, if you scream, now you got to give me the 50. Flounder said, man, that sounds fine with me, you know. So, man, him and his wife, Filet, man, they climb in that ride, you know. They call her filet because she weigh about 75 pounds soaking wet with a full stomach, you know. And, man, that ride took off, and that fella there, he's about to pull that gear shift out the floor. Man, he's made that thing go every kind of which way you could imagine. And finally, that ride got over, and Flounder Ham, he don't make a sound. He walked over there, and he could see the impression in that man's face. He looked, he said, my friend, 25 years I've been operating that ride, and you the first man what I never could make scream. Flounder said, well, look, chef, it's going to make you feel a little better. He said, you almost made me scream when my wife fell out. I guarantee you. Thank y'all. Flounder is a crab trap salesman that traveled through Louisiana. And one time he was on one of them little business trips, you know. And man, it was kind of got late at night, so he stopped in this place called Duvig Dubasol's Hog Heaven Hotel. And man, he goes in there, you know, and he said, man, I need a room for the night. Duvig said, my friend, he said, I hate to be the one to pass that bad news on you there. He said, but we don't got no room left in the whole place. He said, we got big oyster shucker convention in town. Flounder said, look, my friend, you don't understand, man. It's late at night. Me, I'm going to fall asleep at the wheel. I'm going to kill myself. Somebody has to at the same time. Man, you got to have for something. Well, Duvik said, we do got one bed left. He said, but that's an old Mayo, the maintenance man's room. He said, but there ain't nobody could stay in the room with Mayo because he snores so bad. Flounder said, look, just give me that bed. I'll take care of the rest. So, man, the next morning they go to check out, you know, and, man, there's Duvik behind the desk. He said, you passed a good night, huh? Oh, man, Flounder said, Pastor, good night. He said, well, how in the world did you stay in the room with Mayo snoring bad like that? Flounder said, well, last night, he said, when all the lights was out, he said, I could hear old Mayo in the other bed over there just, man, dozing off good, you know. He said, so me, I went over there, kissed him full on the lips. He said, Mayo stayed up all night watching me. And he said, man, I slept like a baby, you know. You know, I know most of the folks around in Louisiana that's watching this, they're Catholics, and they love to hear about them priests and all. What I got to tell y'all about old Father de Blue, he was a priest down in St. Martin Parish, and old Father de Blue found out that he had been transferred to that Vatican over there at Rome, you know. So, man, he was going all around the parish there, man, saying his goodbyes to all his friends, you know, and, man, he goes by old Flounder and Filet's house, you know, and, well, those Cajun, you know, they were sat there, man, and drinking coffee and eating beignet and talking, you know, and Father de Blue said, you know, Flounder, you and Filet, y'all been married for a long time, huh, and y'all never had no children. No, Father, he said, the Lord, he never did bless us with that. Father de Blue said, well, look, when I get over there to the Rome, at that Vatican, he said, I'm going to light one of them holy candles with the special intention that the Lord has see fit to give y'all some children. Flounder said, well, Father, we appreciate that. And he said, made it one of them $5 extra long candles, too, you know. So, man, they get over there, you know, and Father de Blue, 15 years later, he come back to see everybody around Breaux Bridge, and he passed by old Flounder and Filet's house, and man, when Fila answered the door, don't y'all know she's got 14 children running around behind her, you know? Father de Blue, look, he said, Fila, look like you've been busy, huh? Fila said, Father, you couldn't believe that. Man, every year since you've been gone, we don't have another children. We can't stop from having them children. He said, man, that's wonderful. He said, man, where's Flounder? I want to congratulate him. Fila said, well, Father, he's gone and won't be back for 2 weeks. Father de Blue said, where is he gone for 2 weeks? Filet said, Father, I hope that don't hurt your feeling, but he's on the way to Rome to blow that candle out. I guarantee you.
Stay with us. We're going to talk to this great Cajun humorist about a very serious cause right after this. Well, his name is Tommy Joe Breaux, and he is one very funny man. He is a true Cajun humorist versus a comedian, yes, because Cajuns tell stories.
That's right.
And yet you're from Biloxi.
That's true. The whole family, well, like a lot of people don't understand when I'm talking, like during the segment at the beginning, when I say that, I mean that. That's, you know, people think everything a humorist says is supposed to be funny, but it's funny, but it's true. That my family is from Breaux, and 1927, they had a big flood. They lost their farm and crop and everything they own, and they moved over to the Biloxi, and well, it's like I tell people, when they crossed the state line, the Cajun didn't get left in Breaux Bridge. They come with them, you know?
And that's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
But about 10 years ago, you decided to start doing this professionally, even though you had been a storyteller all your life.
Really, it was, I didn't decide it. Some radio people decided it for me. And my family owns an auto parts business, and we had one of the radio remote broadcasters come to the store and say, you know, buy some parts, we'll give you a tape or a T-shirt. And I started talking with the morning people that had done the remote, and they said, we'd love to get you on the show, and, well...
Well, and we're going to kind of cut to the chase, because this man has a lot of stories,
yeah.
But something that's very serious is that out of great humor like this comes a very wonderful gift. You were stricken with MS,
yeah.
And so the proceeds, the man has 6 audio tapes and now a videotape, and the proceeds go to the MS Society of Mississippi, which is fantastic.
Yes, ma'am. I'm real happy to work with IMS Society over there, and this is my way of course, I don't look like someone's been diagnosed with MS for 10 years, and that's a little bit of my thank you, Lord, for keeping me and able to do this kind of stuff. So that's what a lot of it's about.
Well, I want to talk about your family, because you have some really wild family names.
Yeah.
I'll never forget Flounder and Filet, however. Eyes on the side of the head. All right. But so many of your stories come from your family.
My grandpa. When I was growing up, my grandpa was a night watchman, worked for the city of Biloxi, and I would go down and night watch with Grandpa, and he'd tell me all these stories about, you know, people and times in Breaux Bridge. And a lot of my stories that I tell, I include the family names because it makes it a little more personal for me. Like my jealous brothers, Donaville and Danoval. You want me to tell you about that?
Yeah.
You want to?
Getting to know the family.
Yeah. Donaville and Danoval were jealous like you never seen two brothers jealous before. And man, one year, Danoval found out that Donaville done bought his mama a new Cadillac car for her birthday, you know. So, man, he didn't like that none at all. So, man, he go out to this pet store, and he bought one of them minor birds. That thing could talk 13 languages like nobody else could talking. He paid $10,000 for that bird. Sent that to his mama. He called her the next day. He said, Mama, man, what you thought about that bird when I sent you that? God, doggone, Shash. He said, man, delicious. Made the best gumbo.